Welcome back, Golden Flashes fans. Time to talk a little hoops with head ball coach Rob Senderoff. We're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling, as always. And coach, congratulations to a very impressive start to the season. You guys have done it in a multitude of ways so far this year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing has been defensively. We've been pretty consistent on that side of the floor. So as long as we can continue to do that, compete really, really hard on the defensive end of the floor, it gives us a chance to win some games.
I couldn't agree more because you've really taken some of the teams kind of out of their rhythm. Let's start a little bit with the first game of this week that we guys saw you in, and against a very good Portland Pilots squad. And you and I talked before the game about some of their guard play, and some of the guys were going for 30 plus, and you really frustrated and limited what the Pilots wanted to do, and really got them into a frustrated state at seemed at times.
Yeah, coming off, we played Baldwin Wallace, that non-Division I game, and I think coming off that game, our guys were really disappointed in how we played that night. We had some good practices leading into that Portland game, and I think everyone understood that this team was from the West Coast Conference, same conference as Gonzaga and St. Mary's. They had won 19 games a year before and returned 6 guys from that roster. Really skilled team, had just scored 90. I think they were averaging 90 a game for the first 3 games. So we knew that, hey, if we didn't bring the fight to that game, it would be tough. And to our guys' credit, to a man, every guy who stepped on the court played with tremendous purpose, toughness, physicality, really, really competed at a high level. So that was great to see. Certainly helped having Malik and Claron back in the lineup, but just the overall toughness of our roster, I thought really shined through in that game.
Yeah, I thought Claron was the rim protector and that force on the inside to really limit their second chance opportunities. And Malik really just makes that ball pressure start 30, 40 feet up, because he's the type of defender that can really get on you as soon as you cross the timeline. And that just sets everybody else up for defensive success. And like you said, kind of true to form, the defense fuels what you guys want to do offensively if you're able to get numbers back on transition and really start to get the offense going, because once you guys start getting in rhythm, you're very hard to stop.
Yeah, we have the ability, because we're pushing the ball a lot faster and playing a lot quicker than we did last year. We have the ability, if we get it going, to go on a quick, 9-0, 11-2 type run, where that could happen in 90 seconds. And, we didn't have that quite. We didn't play quite as fast last year. So that's helped. And really, like you mentioned, Malik, he just changes things defensively, because he's such a unique defensive player in that he's strong. He's got unbelievable feet, hands, instincts defensively. He just has the ability to really impact the game on that side of the floor. So, he's still not 100% here. And I'm hoping he gets there soon, because we've obviously got a big few weeks ahead of us. But, you put him and Sin and Gio, together, and then Jalen's come off the bench with much, much better defensive focus than a year ago. And then Vaughn is physical, Myron's long and athletic, and, we got all the bigs up there. It gives us a chance. Julius provides tremendous energy. Yet in the Chicago State game, his energy, I thought, really changed the game. So I'm sorry, not Chicago State. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about who we're playing next. Prairie View game. He really changed the game. So, we need all of these guys, to be the team we're capable of being. We need everybody to contribute in a positive way. And so far, we've started off the season that way, which is great to see.
Yeah, and keeping on the defensive side of the ball, I really enjoyed watching your guys' length and positioning, because you're forcing some for lack of a better word, very high risk passes by the offense where they're trying to either they're off balance, trying to throw it cross court, and basically it turns a bunch of your defenders basically into free safeties where they can kind of jump the route, so to speak, either get a hand in deflection and force the offense to reset, or get a ball out loose where you guys can get out and run.
Yeah, and that's again, we're going to be our best when we're playing in transition. That's where we're going to be our best. That's where most teams are their best. So, the more we can create turnovers, the more opportunities we have to get out in transition. So, that's all part of what we're trying to do. Again, it's not perfect. We've got a long way to go. I thought, last night we scored a lot of points, or I should say yesterday afternoon, but I felt like we should have had even more assisted baskets in the game. But you know what, we're going to continue to work to get better, as we move forward. And I still think we have a lot of room for improvement.
Talk with head coach Rob Senderoff about big week of basketball here at the Mac Center. Again, you can get tickets at ksutix.com. And coach, let's talk a little bit about that victory over the Golden Lions, to where both Monday and Wednesday's game kind of got mucked up as far as the aggressiveness. You guys kept your composure. You got to the free throw line, I think, near 40 times in the game. And really, I thought you guys did a good job again of taking an offense out of rhythm, and then being able to even get into your rhythm on a game that didn't have a ton of flow at times.
Yeah, Prairie View, they when they played TCU, they made a lot. I think they made 8 threes in the first half. So part of what we tried to do was make sure we ran them off the 3-point line. And I thought our focus there was really, really good. There was a lot of fouls. They were, I think, second or third to last in the country coming into our game in the most fouls committed. So I'm assuming after our game, they might be last in the country. So the way they play, they're so aggressive on the ball and so aggressive in their help that sometimes they foul a lot, something I'm sure they need to work on. But we had some times that we went too deep, and they caused some turnovers. We had, I think, 5 charges in the game, which are things, again, we'll have to learn from that, like where you have to jump stop and make your pass and make your play from on the court. But I thought overall, we handled that well enough. We were great from the foul line, which was good to see, because we hadn't been that good against Northern Kentucky. Had we shot free throws like that, we could have won by even more. So that was good to see. Seeing the impact that some other guys, it was good to see Rico go in there and really help us. It was good to see Julius go in there and really help the team with his energy. Malik obviously was in foul trouble, but he still ended up with 14 points in only 16 minutes. So, I think as you move throughout the season, we just got to continue to focus on making sure we're doing the things that, that good teams do. Myron had 13 rebounds, which, again, those are really good things to see, that he's capable of doing that. And, that he was the first to the floor. I think it was 3 times in the game. Like, those things that don't always show up are really important for your team. And, we just got to stay with it. I mean, we're only 4 games in, and we have a lot of opportunity to improve.
Well, Coach, you mentioned Malik being in foul trouble. A couple of the guys played with 4 fouls. I always think that's good, because they're going to need to be able to do that as the season goes on. And I also thought that, the Golden Lions had an elite scorer. He went for close to 30, and you're going to see some guys in the MAC that can do that, and you withstood it. You allow him to almost kind of get his, for lack of a better word. Didn't allow anybody else to really kind of join in on the party, and I think that's going to be key. Kind of,
yeah, we need to do a bit, like we didn't do a good job on him though, and we need to clean that up as well. And it was multiple guys, and some of that was he's a really good player, and really good players find ways to score when they're scorers. But some of that is stuff we need to clean up here. We didn't get to really practice between Monday and Wednesday. because it was an afternoon game with the 1 day in between. So we really just shot. So we're off, on Thursday. Friday, it needs to be a really good practice heading into this game Saturday. So we'll try to work on some of the things we need to clean up defensively, in that regard, because like you mentioned, there are some really elite scorers in this league, and we need to find ways to take them away, or at least make it harder for them than we did for Doss. But again, overall, these games, they're all hard, man. Like every game, there's no gimmies. We had a gimme. It was Baldwin Wallace, and we didn't play very well, quite honestly. And the rest of these games, you have to play at a really high level, and I think we're learning that. And if we do that, we have a chance to be really good. So, we're going to continue to push and continue to try to get better. Chicago State, who we play Saturday, has won 2 straight games. They just really demolished Valparaiso from the Missouri Valley. They were up 25 points at halftime. They have 4 or 5 guys that are really good Division I players. So their coach is doing a good job with their team, and we're going to have to play well on Saturday to win, and we have to have a great mindset to do that.
Again, that is a 2 o'clock tip against the Cougars of Chicago State. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about Saturday's opponent. They seem to be, over the last couple of years, anytime, any place, anybody, anywhere, where they will lace them up and go on and take on anybody, so to speak. And that's a hardened mindset. It kind of leads me to believe that they're going to be like you said, a talented and scrappy, hardened bunch.
Well, it's a difficult job, Chicago State, because I think they've changed leagues, multiple times. Right now, I think they're actually independent, if I'm not mistaken. But, they're going to play a tough schedule. They played Northwestern. They're going to continue to play games. Like, they play a lot of games on the road because they've got to find games. But their last 2 games, they played IUPUI at home. They beat them. And then they played Valparaiso at home. And they beat them like a drum. Like they drilled Valparaiso, and they made a number of threes in the game. They've got a physical wing that plays a lot like Malik. It's a tough matchup, and I know all of these teams. The one thing, having done this as long as I've done it, like I got a lot of respect for all of the teams and all the players that we play against, because I know how hard this is. I know how hard it is to win. I know how hard it is to be on the road and compete in these games. So Chicago State's coming off 2 straight wins. They're going to be hungry. I mean, they have confidence. They've got guys that, were starters in other programs and transferred there for whatever reason, transfer back home or transferred there to get more playing time. They got a kid played at Dayton, 25 minutes a game at Dayton, who's now back at Chicago State. Like every team you play in Division I, every team has good players, just like the kid at Doss that we just saw on Wednesday. Every team. And you've got to be really focused to be able to take teams out of what they want to do. And then you have to play a certain way offensively, where you trust each other and make the right play and play unselfishly. And if you do that, and we can do it for 40 minutes, we have depth, we have good shooters, we have experience, we have, the best guards on the court most nights. So then you give yourself a chance. And that's where our focus is okay, what team do we want to be? Do we want to be a consistent team where night in and night out, we know what we're going to do each night? And then, if another team's ready, then it's going to be a battle. And if they're not ready, then we're going to beat them pretty good, because we're always ready. And that's what we're working towards. And I really hope that Baldwin Wallace game, because that sort of sticks in my head. Like we didn't play the right way that night. And a lot of guys didn't look good. I mean, that's the bottom line. A lot of guys didn't look good because we didn't play the right way, and our team didn't look good. And since then, we've had 2 straight games where we have looked good because we've played the right way, and our mindset's been the right way. So the challenge is to do that night in and night out. That's the challenge. So Saturday's another great opportunity for us. Give us a chance. Again, we have to play well to get to 5-0, which would be fantastic given the schedule that we've had, and then head into a road trip on Thanksgiving week.
Well, Coach, we'll leave you with that. Again, 2 o'clock tip-off against the Chicago State Cougars. Tickets still available at ksutix.com. Since this might be the last time we talk before Thanksgiving, if you're making a Thanksgiving Day plate, what is a go-to? Obviously, the turkey's the staple. What are some of the other go-tos that coaches go?
Yeah, you know what's really messed up with my problem is I eat too many carbs. So I'm with the mac and cheese. That's what I like. So I'm not a huge Thanksgiving guy. I'm not into the cranberries, or I really don't even like turkey all that much, quite honestly. But on Thanksgiving, I'll have some turkey. But we'll eat as a team down in Charleston, South Carolina, after our game next Wednesday, before we head to Houston for that game. But you know what? I enjoy being around. You know, this time I won't be with my family. I'll be with my other family, which is our basketball team. You know, when you're a college basketball coach, you spend so many Thanksgivings with your team, which I've done for 20 some odd years now. That Thanksgiving isn't quite the holiday that it might be if you're coaching a different sport or whatever it may be, because I will watch some football, but I'll be watching more film than I will football. I'll put some I guess I'll put some mac and cheese and turkey on my plate. I don't have the gravy. I don't like stuffing. Yeah, Dan, you got me on the wrong one for this one. So I'm not the best answer on that one. What's your favorite, Dan?
Oh, depends on who's doing the cooking. To be honest with you, if I'm doing the cooking, I'll probably smoke a turkey on the grill and go and do something like that. But I'm going to turn it more into almost like chicken wings, and I am going to be like a traditional Thanksgiving with
Gotcha.
turkey. So
Yeah.
we'll do that, and I will fix a plate. And part of me always goes back to the childhood of the cranberry that is still in the shape of a can. So
Gotcha.
we'll do something like that. And obviously, pie is never a bad thing.
Right. Well, you enjoy your Thanksgiving. You deserve it, man. You guys are working really, really hard. So thank you for all you're doing.
Of course, and you guys make it easy and fun to watch, and hopefully we get a big crowd out at the MAC to cheer you guys on as we wrap up the Turkey Slam. And we wanted a tournament setting, and lo and behold, we've got one this week where you guys might be walking away with some hardware coming the end of Saturday.
Let's hope so. We hope we play well Saturday. That's the plan.
KSUTix.com is the place to go. We'll see you at 2 o'clock in the MAC Center on Saturday afternoon. Coach, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for a few moments of the time.
All right. Thanks, Dan.